Hello and welcome to the last Pilates mat exercise session. Well done if you've done all the other sessions. As usual, I will go through 5 different exercises, show you modifications and also how you can challenge yourself. These exercises are taught for people who come to my regular classes. So if you are new to Pilates and new to these sessions with me, then please just listen to your body. If anything feels uncomfortable, please stop and wait and do a different exercise. Right, let's start. The first exercise is going to be the leg pull front support. So come down into an all fours position. Make sure your knees are right underneath your hips and your arms, your wrists are right underneath your shoulders. And center the weight of your body over your palms. So one way I like to teach this is if you move a little bit forwards and backwards over your palms, you'll find that when you move forward slightly, there's a part in that movement where your fingertips just start pressing down a little bit. That's where you want to be. That's when you know your body is a bit more centered. You are then from here going to tuck your toes under, and then we'll do a very, very tiny lift of the knees away from the floor. But make sure the shoulders stay stable throughout. Your tummy muscles is engaged, so pull the tummy muscles in, and we're going to exhale as we lift and float the knees away from the floor. From here, you stay there, hovering above the mat with your knees. Your head stays in line with your spine. You take an inhalation and then an exhalation. Right, let's do 5 of those together. Press the arms nice and long down into the mat. Make sure your weight is over your center of your palms. Tuck your toes under. Inhale, prepare yourself. Feel long through the spine. Then exhale, hover above the mat. Try not to lift too high. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, prepare yourself. Find length from the crown of the head to the bottom of the spine, and exhale and lift, hovering above the floor. Make sure not to lift the bum too high. After that, inhalation and release. Let's do 3 more. Length from the tips of the crown of the head to the end of the spine. Exhale, hover. Inhale, stay there. And then release. And let's do 2 more. Inhale, prepare yourself. And exhale, hover. Inhale, hold it. And then release. A nice stretch to do after this one is just sit your bum back and then just reach your arms forwards. Deep breath. This is your child's pose we covered in the first session, and come back. Now roll onto your sides. Now this is the side bends prep exercise, but it's also better known as the side plank. So I'm going to teach you a very traditional way of doing this. Place your elbow underneath your shoulders. First of all, you want to make sure this alignment is there. We're going to keep the knees bent, but place your top leg just behind the bottom leg. So I'm on my right elbow, my left leg is slightly bent, the foot is right behind the right foot. So my left foot is behind my right foot, knees are slightly bent. Good. So we'll start with a very modified version here. The arm is going to float up, reaching to the ceiling. Feel a slight lift into your sternum here. That's going to help you lengthen your spine out. Press your elbow down. Look straight in front of you, don't look towards your feet, and we'll just hover the hips above the floor. So inhale, engage the tummy muscles and your pelvic floor muscles. Remember, it's like camera shutters, and hover the hips. The knee stays down. Inhale, and then release. So you can feel quite a lot of muscular tension happening there in the waist area. And inhale, and exhale, hover the hips. So you're on your knees, slightly on your knees. And then release. You can feel quite a lot of strong work happening in the shoulders as well. And inhale. And exhale. Just hover the hips. Your knee stays down on the mat. And then release. Let's do 2 more together. Inhale. And exhale. Hover the hips. Inhale, hold it. And then release. So that's actually one little bit of a challenge you're bringing in here, is holding it for an inhalation. But if it's too much, you just exhale up, inhale down. So just listen to the body and see how much you can do. Exhale up and inhale down. Okay, let's give the shoulder a rest and we go over onto the other side. So I'm on my left shoulder, my right leg is behind my left leg. The feet is one behind the other. Knees are slightly bent. Good. So we press the elbow, which is right underneath the shoulder, down into the floor. So we stabilize the shoulder blade here. Float the arm up to the ceiling. And again, exhale, hover. Inhale, lower. And exhale, hover. See if you can hold it there for an inhalation. And then release. Let's just exhale up, inhale down. Exhale, hover the hips. Inhale. And then release. Let's do one more where we hold it for an inhalation. So exhale, hover just the hips. You can see my knees are staying down. I'm not pressing too much on my knees, but it's much easier keeping the knees in that position. Release it. I hope you held it there for an inhalation. And one more. Exhale, hover. Make sure that elbow is pressing down. You keep the shoulder blades stable. And then release. Good. Okay, we're going to change around again. Over to the right elbow. So next version again. So my left leg is behind my right leg. I'm on my right elbow. My knees are staying slightly bent. Now I'm going to lift my knees and my hips, but I'm going to use my hand, instead of floating it up, I'm using the hand to help me with this, with a little bit of balance. Ready? Press down into the mat and exhale. Lift the hips and the knees. You can stretch it out or you can keep it bent and then release it back down. So you've got to press down into the feet a little bit more now as well. And again, exhale, lift, knees and hip, and then release it down. Good. So again, exhale, lift the hips and the knees. You can stretch it out for a challenge. Keep the hand there for a bit of help, and then release it. Let's do 2 more, and exhale, lift the hips, the knees. See if you can stretch it out. And then release it. So you've got to bend the knees again before you lower. Last one again, lift the hips and the knees, stretch it out. And then release it back down. Good, just a tiny little bit of challenge there. We're going to go back onto our left sides again. Elbow underneath the shoulder. Left elbow underneath left shoulder. Right leg is behind left leg. 1 foot behind the other. Knees are slightly bent. And we're using the top hand to help us lift the knee and the hip at the same time. Inhale. And exhale, hip and knee. And then release. You might find one side slightly stronger than the other side. Just be aware of that. Remember to keep that sternum lifted as well. So long spine. And again, exhale, lift the knees and the hips. Try stretching out and bending and lowering down. Good. Let's do that again. Lift the hips and the knees. Try stretching out and bending it and lower down. And exhale, lift the hips and the knees. Try stretching out. Remember, you can hold it there for an inhalation for extra balance, and then release it. And then the last one, lift the hips and the knees. And you'll find that with having the leg, the top leg behind the bottom leg, you're avoiding rolling the hip forward. So that hip keeps on pointing up towards the ceiling and then come back down again. So that modification you can do with either the knees bent or the knees stretched. Okay, now let's go into the full version of this preparation exercise. So remember, this is a side bends prep exercise. It's not the full side bends exercise. So onto your right elbow, we're going to have the top leg behind the bottom leg, left leg behind the right leg. Ready? So this time the arm floats up, elbow presses down, sternum is lifted, tummy is engaged. Inhale, exhale, lift and lengthen, pressing the hips forward, squeezing your gluteals here. Inhale and then release, keeping the arm up. Inhale, keep looking forwards and lengthen out. Feel strong throughout the whole body, lots of length here, from the heels pressing away from you and the crown of the head reaching away from you. Lower. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, hold, and then release. Last 2. Inhale, exhale, reach and lengthen, inhale, hold, and then release. Good. Let's try the other side. On to the left elbow now. So you'll feel the shoulders are doing quite a lot of work there. So on the left elbow, the top leg behind the bottom leg, and lift the arm up towards the ceiling. Lift the sternum. Inhale, prepare. Engage your tummy muscles and your pelvic floor muscles. As you exhale, lift the hips and the knees and lengthen out. Squeeze the gluteals. Inhale. And then release. Inhale, prepare. Exhale and lift. Squeeze the gluteals. Press down through the elbow. Away with the heels to one side and away with the crown of the head the other side. And then release. 3 to go. Inhale. And exhale. Lots of length here. Inhale, hold. And then release. And 2 more. Inhale and exhale. And remember, if this is too strong for you, stick to the previous modifications. And then release. And one last one. And lift and lengthen out. Heels away from you. Crown of the head away in the opposite direction. And then release. Well done. So after the side bends exercise, it's nice to do the mermaid stretch. So for the mermaid stretch, you can have different positions for the legs. We're going to start with a cross-legged position. If this feels uncomfortable, you can even have your legs just in this position out in front of you. Soles together, legs is just dropping open like butterfly wings. Okay? So I'm going to stay in a cross-legged position because this is good for my hips. And I'm having my arms nice and long out to the side here. Now, for you, some of you, you'll find that your knees and your hips are very comfortable here. Right, so the first thing we do is lift the left arm, walk the fingers out to the side, and then reaching over, bending the elbow on the right. So you get a nice side body stretch, and then come back up again. And then walk the fingers over to the other side, lift the opposite arm, lower down through the elbow and stretch over the head. Feeling that side body stretch. Here you want to inhale. That inhalation helps stretching out more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, sitting tall on your sit bones. Inhale. So in my exhalation, I'm coming up and I'm going over to the side bend, to the opposite side. Once I'm in that side bend, I inhale. And I exhale up and over. Inhale. Exhale, up and over. Inhale. Exhale, up and over. Good. So you can change that slightly by just take your right leg and swing it out to the side. And then you are sitting in a position where one hip is externally rotated and the other hip internally rotated. And this changes the stretch slightly. You have your arms out to the side again. Find length, lifting the sternum. We're going to go with the left arm up to the ceiling first. Walk the fingers out, walk them out, and then reach over. Inhale. And exhale, up and over. Walk the fingers out, bend down all the way with the elbow to the floor, and then you reach over. Inhale. And exhale, coming up. So now you'll find that your waist muscles is working harder, coming up nice and tall again. And walking it away over to the other side, reaching over. But stronger stretch here when you are reaching over to your right. And coming back up again. So let's do one more time. Walk it over to the left, down onto the elbow, reaching over. Inhale when you're there. Exhale up, last time over to the right. And reaching over, and inhale when you arrive. And then come back up again. Now we're going to swing the legs around. So sit back slightly, bring the knees up, and point the toes to the opposite side. Sitting nice and tall, arms out to the side. So let's go over to the left first. We're going to lift the right arm, walk the left fingers, and reach it over. When you arrive, inhale. Exhale, up and all the way over to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, up and walk it over to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, up and walk it to the other side. Inhale. And back you go, up nice and tall, sternum lifted. Good. So the next one we'll do is the leg pull back support. So we've done the front support. The back support is the opposite movement. So first, we're going to lift the chest. So we open up, we roll the shoulders back. And then from there, we are going to lift the hips all the way up towards the ceiling. Now for a lot of you, this is going to feel really difficult because you'll be tight in your chest, tight in the front of the shoulders. So maybe a good start for you is just lifting the chest and then starting with as high as you can so that you can get that openness in the chest first. So let's just do 5 of those, half leg pull back support. So inhale, exhale, release, inhale down. Exhale. Inhale down. Now throughout the leg pull back support, you've got to keep on looking towards your knees. Exhale. Inhale. And remember to pull your tummy in as you lift. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. And inhale. Okay, now we're going to do 3 full lifts. So inhale and exhale all the way up. Tummy is pulling in. You're looking towards your knees. You're pressing down into the floor with your hands. And then you release it back down. Okay, let's do that again. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, squeeze the glutes as you lift the hips. Inhale, hold. And then release. And let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale, lift. Now to challenge yourself, hold it here, inhale once. And then release. Good. Okay. Now for lots of you, this is going to feel like quite strong work. in your wrists. So something I like to do in between those exercises is link the fingers in and then just roll the wrist around a little bit. You can also do this before you do the exercise to warm up your wrists. Okay, I'm going to show you a challenge now for that one. It's challenging enough for many of you, but if you do practice this regularly and you think, well, I'd like to go a little bit further, then try this one. We'll only do 3 together. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lift the hips. Make sure your feet's underneath your knees. Make sure your tummy is being pulled in. And then lift the leg. There we go. Now the aim is not to drop your hips. I don't want to see this dropping the hips when you lift the leg. Keep the hips high. Keep the tummy engaged. Keep the neck flexed so you're looking towards your knees. Exhale 1. Exhale the other one. And then lower down. So that will be 1. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Inhale, lift the other side. And then lower down. And let's do 1 more together if you were doing the challenge with me. Inhale, chest lifted, shoulders rolled back. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Lower that leg. Inhale. Lower the other leg. And then lower the bum. Well done. Interlace the fingers and give yourself a little wrist roll. The last exercise we'll be doing is called the seal. Now this one is very similar to rolling like a ball. So I know many of you have quite tight lower spine, so maybe the rounding of the spine, the articulation of the vertebrae is quite a challenge for you. So this is a nice one for you to practice. So what you want to do is bring your feet together. So you'll have your knees opening up like butterfly wings. We are going to bring the heels in a little bit closer towards the bum. And we're going to take the hands through the inner thighs and wrap them around the ankles. So I'll just show you from this view. So you're going to bring your hands through the inner thighs and then just wrap them around the ankles. And then from here, you've got to roll back onto your soft bits, just off your sit bones with your pelvis, and then lift the legs, the feet away from the floor, so they just hover above the floor here. So a bit of a hip flexor working in here, but you've got the arms to support. But watch the shoulders, try and relax the shoulders. There will be a little bit of tension, but try not to tense too much there. And then you hold it like that, off your sit bones. Okay, let me show you the side version. Good. So you're in that hovering foot position. You're holding onto your ankles. You're rounding your spine now as much as you can. And then as you inhale, you roll onto your thoracic spine. Exhale, back into your balance. Inhale. Exhale. Okay? So let's do 10 of those together. There's no modification and there is no challenge here. So just 10 of this exercise. Bring the feet together, hover above the floor, round the spine, and let's inhale back, exhale up. 1, inhale back, exhale up. 2, 3. Keep that spine rounded. Keep looking towards your inner thighs. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well done. Great. So that is all of the exercises, 30 basic mat Pilates exercises that you have done in all 6 of these sessions. These are sessions you can return to on a regular basis, and watch out for those clips that I'm going to do where we work more on a flow, maybe a little bit less instruction, and I might also pop in a few more challenging sessions for some of you as requested. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next session.